2025 Euro NASCAR Pro title fight is hitting a fever pitch, and we are at Autodrom Most for the 8th race of the season. It is our 4th destination on the calendar. We have 2 more left to come in Oschersleben and Zolder, and those will be the hosts of our double point playoffs. However, we're very excited to be here in the Czech Republic, here at Autodrom Most. It's a circuit, it's a destination where we always get great fan support, and the drivers are always tested. So then we are at that critical stage of the season, and this man, Gianmarco Ercoli, has seemingly come alive in recent times. He's got 3 wins on the trot, 2 of which, of course, came last time out at Brands Hatch. Until yesterday, though, he'd never won before at the Autodrom Most, but the challenge, he rose to the occasion of the challenge of Most yesterday. It's a circuit that is always challenging for our drivers. There's always lots of wheel-to-wheel combat, and a win here, I think it always means that little bit more.
Welcome to one of the most thrilling circuits in all of Europe. Vast straights, brutal corners, and pure horsepower collide right here. This weekend, the roar returns. Only the bravest will conquer most.
I will win because I'm the most skilled driver.
I will win because I am the most prepared.
I'm the most talented driver of the field.
I am the most fearless.
I am Most.
So then, the Autodrom Most, of course, here in Czechia, it is a venue where we always get significant support, and Gianmarco Ercoli will be looking to harness that, Andre.
Yes, I'm here with Gianmarco Ercoli, and I see you and Vittorio Ghirelli, 2 Italians fighting for the championship in the first row. I'm really sorry, but I'm thinking about Venray last year when you had a little bit of a fight. Is it about respect today, or are you going really hard at each other again?
We have a really good respect. We are friends outside the track. Inside is another history. So I race for me, he raced for he. So I think today is really hard because yesterday the 24 car do a really good strategy, and he have for sure 40-45 kilometers less than me on the wilds, on the tires. So it's important here because it's a really fast track. But I have a really super car, so I think we can fight a lot for the first position.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck, have fun. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that battle at the front for sure. As we've alluded to, it's certainly not the first time we would see Ercoli and Girelli go head-to-head, and sometimes it has boiled over a little bit as well. You see there the packed tribune where the drivers, or where the fans are watching these drivers prepare. Of course, there's a lot of fans down there doing the walk as well. But here's a big stat: 43,212 fans here this weekend for the NASCAR GP Czech Republic. It's always a big event, kind of a dual headliner, the NASCAR Euro Series along with the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. But in particular, so much enthusiasm for the NASCAR Euro Series grid here. We can see the Team Georgia car, the number 9 machine, being pushed away. That could be a problem, but let's go to Vittorio Girelli.
I have to repeat it. 2 Italians fighting for the championship in the first row. I had to think about Venray last year when you collided and had a little bit of a heated discussion. I asked Gian Marco. He said there's a lot of respect off track. On the track, everybody's having his own race. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we got along very well. We were karting together. He's a very good guy. It's obvious that in racing you can have these kind of moments. I mean, we're battling since a few years already in NASCAR. So, yeah, he's a good, very good driver, strong, performing well, and yeah, the battle is on. We'll go for it.
What about the tires? You have way better tires than the rest of the field. Yesterday, you had issues with the car, but you went out, had a perfect lap, and then you parked it again to save the tires. So is that a big advantage here at Most?
Yeah, for sure. The tires are in a good shape compared to the others, but you know, in racing you never know. Anything can happen. The main goal is to survive turn 1 and then try to, you know, build a good rhythm. And yeah, anything can happen. You know, safety cars, restarts, red flags. I mean, it's NASCAR, so yeah, we'll go for the win for sure.
All right. Thank you so much. Grazie mille. Back to you, Adam.
Reference there to the tyre situation. The Hoosier slicks on these cars did qualifying on Saturday morning. In the case of this Pro Grid, they also, in the top 10, did Super Pole as well. They did yesterday's race, and now, once again, they're bolted onto the cars for more racing action. One set of tyres has to do both races and qualifying in each category in the Pro and Open division. Of course, it's a cost-saving measure, but it's also a strategic fly in the ointment to see how drivers handle things across the 2 race distances. And Vittorio Girelli, as we heard there, had some mechanical strife yesterday, had some brake issues that kept reoccurring with the car on Saturday. None of it in the Open race earlier on, though. Let's go to Patrick Schauber.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is passion. Weekend done. You could have now go home, enjoy the race of the weekend, but you're still here in your racing suit and watching your teammate race, Paul Gifford. What do you think he can achieve?
I mean, he has a better starting position than I had, so P4 everything is possible. Of course, in the first corner you can lose a lot of places, but you can also gain a lot of places. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck. Also the team, they managed to fix the car after I unfortunately had a contact in my race. So yeah, best of luck to them. It's showtime for them, and yeah, for me in Osha Slim it's gonna continue.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck and have fun for the race as a spectator. Adam, back to you.
There we go, Patrick Schauber, the Austrian racer. We'll see him again at Oschersleben, of course, in the Open division. They had their second race this morning in an action-packed affair. It was, as Patrick alluded to, his car not making the flag, but the RDV competition team have knuckled down and made sure the car is perfect for Paul Gifford, starting from the outside of that second row. He will be starting alongside Liam Hazemans in the number 30 Retta Jones racing car on that second row of the grid. Those two have had the odd skirmish over their 10 years in Euro NASCAR as well, so that's going to be very interesting. And I think for Hazemans in particular, a podium would be quite valuable for him going into the second half of the season. Garrett Lowe is with Andre.
First time podium yesterday for Brimotion with Garrett Lowe in the car of the 99. Yesterday I rushed a little bit through the interviews at your team because you had so many guests, so many people around, but you wanted to share a very important message.
We did. We wanted to say hey back at home to Richie, Suzanne, and Frank who couldn't be here this weekend. We miss you guys. Get well soon, Richie. Thoughts with y'all. And yeah, we had a good podium and hope you're proud and see if we can get another one.
How hungry are you now to be in victory lane?
It's a pretty deep hunger. Now that you get that taste of the podium, we checked off our goals for the year: junior podium, junior trophy, and third step on the podium. So now we need to get that win. So we got 5 more. Let's go get it.
All right, have fun. Good luck. Back to you, Adam.
Great to hear from Garrett Lowe and extending those well wishes as well to some of his supporters, and indeed get well soon, Richie. 17 minutes and 15 seconds now until the command is given. You see it there on your clock on the stromwatches.com countdown to command. Our command in this one looks like it may be coming from, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But Giorgio Maggi is with Andre.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Finally, you're back in the range of our cameras with a really good starting position, Giorgio Maggi. We know that the race pace is really good in 2025, a little bit of bad luck and not the best pace in qualifying so far. We still have some races to go, but there's a positive trend, right?
There is a strong positive trend. As said, our race pace has been quite good in the last few races. Qualifying, we have to work a little bit on it, but now it's really getting important that we get that fixed, especially for the next few weekends with the double points. Yeah, there's still a lot of points to grab, and yeah, as you said, finally in a decent starting position. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
When I take a look, yeah, there are some strong cars there, but it's not that far to a podium position, right?
It's not that many cars, but I know they're really strong cars, so it will be interesting. But it's going to be a warm and a long race, so tire management will be also a big factor, and not only raw speed. So I hope we can do some smart things and maybe gain some fruit positions. So yeah.
All right, then good luck and have fun. Back to you, Adam.
Great to see Giorgio having probably his best weekend of the season so far. He'll be starting on the outside of row 3 alongside Garrett Lowe, who we've already spoken to, and of course row 4 is where a lot of the home appeal is, and in fact that's the only car on the grid you can't see is the car on the inside of row 4. There's so many people around Martin Dubek's number 7 Hendricks Motorsport Orion Ford Mustang. And of course that is because he's the hometown hero here. He is the driver so many are getting behind. Paul Giffreau will be looking to spoil the party there.
2 Italians in the first row. They clashed in the past, remember Venray? Yeah? Is it a chance, an opportunity if they do something up front and you may take advantage of it, or do you just want to beat them?
Yesterday I would have told you that I wanted to be in front of us, but with the circumstance of the weekend, we have to keep the points. So of course if there is a gap I will go for it, but I will not create it. I want to finish. A podium finish is really possible. Yeah, yesterday I wasn't feeling great with the car and we found a problem on the car, so I think I can be really faster, but yeah, with the 9th finish yesterday for the championship is really not the good operation. So yeah, we'll just look and take the advantage, but I will not create an advantage.
All right, that's a clear statement. Thank you so much, Paul. Adam, it's your turn.
Okay, well, Paul Giffreau then looking to try and forge on. Interesting that they found some issues with the car. It didn't feel like Giffreau was maybe a little bit off the pace compared to what we're expecting yesterday, so that kind of closes that thread neatly for us. There's Martin Dubek on picture duty with the local fans. Of course, not the only home driver here, because Michael Marquez, the series debutant, is also on the grid. He starts on the 7th row of the grid in the number 76 Team Blake-Molen car. The winner from earlier today, Thomas Chrysonis, is with Andre.
Yeah, Thomas, perfect sweep in the open division. That was perfect. Now I have to look a little bit farther back to find your car, but that means just hard work, right?
it's not always that we will start in the front, you know, and don't forget, all my career basically I was starting from that position, so maybe
you're used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it. It's not a problem. I'm trying to not be used to that, but yeah, still no. Many mistakes yesterday. The setup wasn't ideal. I overhit the brakes. I couldn't put a good lap time, so it's totally my fault for being so back on the Pro, because we show that in the Open we are very fast. We can be for sure at least top 5 pace. So yeah, it's the last race of the regular season. We already have used the Joker basically with Brands Hatch, so my plan is very simple, just to finish the race, get as many points as possible, and go strong into the playoffs.
All right, then good luck and have fun. Thank you so much. Back to you, Adam.
Thomas Chrysonis in good spirits. He's on the outside of row number 4 alongside Martin Dubeck. Behind him will be Sebastian Blakemolen looking to move up through the field. And alongside him on row 5 is Jack Davidson, who's really knuckled down during the summer break. He's been working very hard on his fitness and has come back looking quite literally like a new man for the Lux Motorsport Chevy team. And it's been great to see Jack Davidson up in the top 10 all weekend long in terms of pace and performance, and we'll see how far he can go in this race from the inside of row number 5 in 9th position. Julian Reberg will be one to watch on row 6 as well in the number 77 promotion car, the sister car to Garrett Lowe. Reberg's car was in strife all throughout Saturday, but hopefully he can have a good result to close out the weekend for that number 77 crew. 11.5 minutes till the most famous words in motorsport, about 3 minutes until we hear the anthems here at the Autodrom Most. You can see there Sebastian Blakemolen taking a cue from Lightning McQueen with that window shade on the car, but I assure you there are no animated shenanigans nor tongues extended from the grills of the cars in the NASCAR Euro Series. There's the number 55 Club competition car. Club have been going through a pretty good weekend here in Most. Of course, the number 22 car that only appears in the Rookie Challenge and the Open Division was in victory lane on Saturday evening in the Open Division, but unfortunately there was a 5-second penalty applied to Jordan O'Brien post-race, which cost the team their first ever win in the series. Fabrizio Armetta, who drives that number 55 car, he's on the outside of row number 6, P12 on the grid for this race, and I really think he'll be moving up. He's been really strong in terms of race performances in recent times, seems to be getting better and better, as do the team. There's that long run down to the first chicane in the background of that shot, of course. That first chicane is very treacherous, effectively a double hairpin with how tight the radiuses are around there, and in general, cornering. It sounds silly, of course, on a road course, but cornering is a huge part of what goes on at this circuit. 21 corners packed into 2.6 miles. That is a very high ratio. Jerome Galpin, though, is with Andre.
Yes, thank you so much. Next to me, NASCAR Euro Series President and CEO, Jerome Galpin. More than 40,000 people confirmed that have attended this event. What a crowd, right?
Yeah, we must thank those fans. You know, they are very passionate, very motivated. Czech Republic please give us a warm welcome. You know, this year their president, Mr. Pavel, was there. He even drove a NASCAR beast. So we can see that it's really a country that is really, let's say, dedicated to pure racing. The track is really a great track. You know, most the old drivers they love the layout. As soon as we pass the first chicane, then
it's fine.
Then it's fine. But it's definitely a great place, and we are super happy to extend our partnership with Autodrom Most for the next 2 years. But definitely, we love to be there, and we love the fun, and they give us a lot of support. So that's definitely a great experience.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Adam.
Great to hear from Jerome as he continues to press on along with everyone in NASCAR Europe to make this series as big of a spectacle, as great as it possibly can be. And certainly this event here has become one of the hallmarks of the calendar. This has been extended, of course. Vallelunga, we know will be back there. Brands Hatch, of course, with American Speed Fest. All of the favourite venues are staying, and that 2026 calendar, once it's revealed, I'm sure will be in full. Very exciting prospect for all of our fans, not to mention, of course, the drivers. There you can see the number 30 car with its flag, the mix of Dutch and Luxembourg for those Retty Jones racing cars. Let's listen in for the anthem. Go, the anthems of Czechia and the United States back to back, all red, white and blue here today. There is the number 30 Retty Jones racing car. Of course, that's an American team in the NASCAR Euro Series, expanding out into the Euro Series from their US travails in partnership with the Hendricks Motorsport team, of course, one of the big guns here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Speaking of big guns, Vittorio Girelli on the front row of the grid, on pole position, no less, getting good luck there, and he will be looking to try and lead this race through the first corner if he possibly can. He's got the right line to do it, but we've seen a few skirmishes into the first corner. It must be said, the pro race yesterday was a fairly clean affair, all things considered, but the two open races that we've had since then were a lot more dramatic and cataclysmic at times, but we'll keep an eye on that front row dice. What about this guy? Yesterday's winner, Gianmarco Ercoli, a 141.206. Of course, he was kind of managing things at the front of the field. We've alluded to the fact that Vittorio Girelli should have a fresher set of Hoosier tyres on his car. However, with Girelli with Ercoli kind of managing the pace at the front yesterday, I wonder if he's maybe been able to save himself some grip for this race as well. Hazemans and Dufresne on that second row of the grid, what can they do? How much can they disrupt? We'll keep an eye on that. As we get a look now at the point standings, Gianmarco Ercoli is our points leader now with a 17-point advantage over Vittorio Girelli. Thomas Chrysonis, who also leads the junior trophy, third overall on 227, which is really impressive stuff. Dufresne, Blake Amolan and Garrett Lowe all over that 200-point threshold as well. Armetta, Dubek, Siortzis and Liam Hazemans all within 60 points, or well, 61 points to be strict about it, of the leader as well, given there will be 320 points available for race wins alone coming into the double point playoffs. Anyone in that top 10 could still be a contender in the championship. And we saw there, of course, the Challenger Trophy points leader as well, who we should acknowledge, Claudio Remigio Capelli. 9th row of the grid for him. He'll be starting from 17th in this race. But that point situation, certainly not what Vittorio Girelli would have foreseen. But yesterday's race was quite difficult for him. Of course, we do have a drop score after this race today, so everyone's worst score of the season will be wiped from the record, from the annals of history, and they can regroup from there. So we'll have to see whether Girelli leaps back up into the championship lead, potentially, if he gets a good race today, and indeed if that result from Saturday here at Most gets struck from the record book. But for Gianmarco Ercoli, that hot streak that he's on, he'll want to continue that at all costs. You don't have 3 wins in a row without something going right, and it feels like things are really starting to kind of gel together nicely there at Illumitech Racing. Not a slow start to the year per se, but certainly not the same form that we're seeing now. Something clicked at Brands Hatch, and it's continued into the summer break and indeed now into Most. So I would suspect Gianmarco Ercoli is going to be more than a worthy adversary in this race. What about guys like Haysmans? What about guys like Garrett Lowe, who have started to get the faintest whiff of victory? Garrett Lowe yet to get a win. Of course, got his podium yesterday, and we'll see what he can do from that 3rd row. If I had to pick a dark horse out, though, from those first few rows of the grid, something tells me Giorgio Maggi might have something to offer. He's been fairly strong all weekend here in the NASCAR Euro Series, and as it stands, I just wonder if this could be the day that we see some of the Giorgio Maggi of old. I think back to 2022, this could be an opportunity for him on those first 3 rows of the grid. The strongwatches.com countdown to command is just a minute away from hitting that 0 marker. The most famous words in motorsport are due in just a matter of moments. After the command, we'll be able to welcome Andre Vigold into the box for the first time after he's done his lap of all of the drivers' doors. 40 seconds until we hear those famous words that will be given out by Richard Cervenka of the National Sports Agency. I believe that President Pavel is also still here, but he's not going to be our Grand Marshal. Richard Cervenka is
Dámy a pánové, je opět čas na nejslavnější slova ve světě motorsportu. A aby se postará dnešní den, našel národní sportovní agentury Richard Cervenka. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get the most famous words from motorsport from our Grand Marshal, Mr. Richard Cervenka, for the National Sports Agency. Richard, it's your turn now. Come on! Drivers, start your engines.
There we go. The engines fire into life. 8,000 plus horses rampage onto the Autodrom Most plane, and they will soon be rolling on the formation lap. It will be a 2x2 rolling start, of course, into that first corner. There's always a measure of jeopardy when we approach that first turn 2, sometimes even 3 wide, as we've seen on occasions here this weekend at Most. That wheel and start zone you can see there with the red flags just between rows 3 and 5. That is where they will put the hammer down and launch into action. Andre, huge attendance here this weekend, 42,212. That's a great number of fans here in the Autodrom Most for this weekend. It's a growing event, more and more excitement from the Czechian Euro NASCAR fans. The atmosphere down there looks pretty special.
It is 100%, Adam. It's just amazing. When you're in the open paddock, you have access to all the cars, all the drivers, all the teams, and even if I try to work there, I really have to work my way through all those fans trying to get their autographs, the photos, and also be very close to the cars. You can even watch
and observe the teams repairing the car and preparing them. So it's an open paddock, and also on the other side where the grandstands are, and also the green hills here at Autodrom Most, it's packed, and you feel a very special atmosphere. It's a great program also with our guys of the European Truck Racing Championship. The program is so rich with also classic cars on track. So I think the Autodrom Most did a really, really good job in this event, and we have a really big crowd here. I think everybody can be really proud of it.
No, exactly right. Some interesting information has come in from one of our photographers. That would be Nina Weinbrenner. We were wondering why President Pavel isn't our Grand Marshal. It turns out he's actually stood at turn 1 to watch this race. So not only is he enthusiastic, he's also figured out where all the action is happening. That's awesome. Vittorio Girelli is our pole sitter for this race. He is alongside his countryman Gianmarco Ercoli, rivals for a very long time, friends off the track they say as well. We'll keep an eye on them. Hazemans and Giuffreau on row 2 of the grid, looking to be disruptors, as is Garrett Lowe, the esports convert, becoming more and more of a force here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Giorgio Maggi on row 3 alongside Martin Dubek and Thomas Krasonis. Row number 5 of the grid, Jack Davidson and Sebastian Blaker-Molen. Julian Reberg and Fabrizio Armetta make row 6 of the grid. To quickly fly through the rest, Mikael Marquez and Bruno Mulders are on row 7. That's an all-team Blaker-Molen row 7 of the grid. Thomas Toffel, I think, will be alone on row 8 because David Kajaya was pushed off the grid. Not sure what's going on there with the number 9 Team Georgia car. Claudio Armegio Capelli and Vladimir Osiortis on row 9. Massimilio Lanza in the 89 alongside Ulis Del So in the 14 Speedhouse car on row 10. And then it's Federico Monti starting solo at the back, row 11 of the grid. The cars then are in 2x2 formation. We're just a couple of corners away as we get ourselves ready to go racing. The Whelen Engineering start zone will be where the throttles are pressed down and the race fires into life. It's 17 laps of action here in Most around this tight and treacherous 4.212 kilometre circuit. And it is anyone's guess as to who will lead out of the first corner. Will there be carnage akin to what we saw in the Open Division, or will they keep things neat and tidy as we saw from the pro drivers 24 hours ago? Come what may, it's the greatest sound in racing now as 20 V8s harmonise together to create beautiful music against the grandstand of Most. We're underway and it's a bump start there from Liam Hazemans to Girelli in the 24 car. An interesting start then, and Girelli on the inside should hold the lead. He does hold the lead, and Hazemans tries to go around the outside of Ercoli at turn 2. Surely that's not going to work. We've got drivers off the track further back. Thomas Krasonis in the gravel. Martin Dubek falling back as well. Another poor start, unfortunately, for the Czech driver on his home turf. Krasonis and Dubek, the two drivers that started on row 4 of the grid, have dropped well outside the top 10. I also see that David Kajaya is there, which is great news. I thought he didn't get to take the start, but he is there. And everyone running now through these early corners of the lap. It's all gone to plan for Vittorio Girelli. Perhaps not the case, though, for some of the others further back, as we get a great look here from up above on the drone cam of these cars firing through the first lap.
Yeah, there was a little bit of carnage there in turn 1. I saw Thomas Krasonis got a little bit airborne, and then he was in the gravel trap, but everybody was able to rejoin. Now we have Vittorio Girelli up front, and he has the best tires because he didn't run not so many laps yesterday in the race. He just clocked a very fast lap, and then he parked his car, so he has really good tires. But we see that Gianmarco Ercoli is not letting him go away up front. There we have Martin Dubek fighting his way up to the front. He's now behind Julian Rehberg, and he's in front of David Kajaya. The two Italians, they're up front. Then we have Hazemans, Giuffreau, and Garrett Lowe. He was really cautious there during the start, and there's a car with some pieces flying around at the back.
Yeah, I think it was Giorgio Maggi just running it out wide there as he was getting overtaken, I think potentially by Sebastian Blaker-Molen. But at the front of the field then, the top 5 have absolutely stretched away from the rest of the field, and it is the two Italians from the front row in 1-2 order, Garelli and Ercoli, followed by Hazemans, Dufresne and Garrett Lowe. Then it's Fabrizio Armetta in 6th. Bruno Mulders is up to 7th place. He's had a good start there from further back, way outside the top 10. Mikael Bleikemolen, that's his dad. Sebastian Bleikemolen in 8th place. Giorgio Maggi in 9th. And rounding out the overall top 10 is your Challenger Trophy leader, Claudio Remeggio Capelli, who's also leaped up through the field on that first lap. Martin Dubek, meanwhile, crossed the line in 14th. Chrysonis in 18th position. He will be very disappointed with that.
Yeah, definitely. And he said it, he took the joker, the one drop result already at Brands Hatch, so he wasn't allowed to do another mistake if he wants to keep his title hopes alive. Of course, double points, this means there's a lot of changes possible during the playoffs, but still you want to have the best situation going into the playoffs. And Casones, he loses some ground there. At the end of this race, everybody will drop the worst result, and then we have the playoff picture ready for Oschersleben and Zolder, but there are still 16 laps to go in the regular season, and it looks like that the two Italians are fighting it out up front. Hazeman still in the 3rd place ahead of Dufresne and Garrett Lowe. This is a really nice battle, three-way battle for the podium positions.
Getting the impression that in particular Garrett Lowe has the bit between his teeth here. He's looking like he's on the offensive. Dufresne feels the need to cover the inside line. Garrett Lowe therefore strays to the outside. He's going to make it work, I think, all the way around the outside at turn 1, and he gets the inside for turn 2. Has he compromised his run too much though? Coming out of the second corner, it's still side by side between Dufresne and Garrett Lowe. Dufresne has his nose ahead. I think Paul Dufresne is going to hold on to that 4th position, although they're still side by side. Garrett Lowe kicks up the dust from the grass there on the inside, but he does have to hold on for a little while longer and stay in 5th position. Tries to set himself up nicely for a run back up the hill here out of the bottom hairpin. But for now, Paul Dufresne remains in 4th place. Liam Hazemans with a little bit of a break here. Maybe he can focus less on the mirrors and try to focus forward on the Italians up in the top 2. Garelli and Ercoli, but Garrett Lowe looking really like he's got the bit between his teeth, like he's got some extra pace. It's just a matter of finding his way around the RDV competition Mustang.
Yeah, and it's a great rivalry when we think about their backgrounds. Paul Dufresne stated he's one of the 200 best drivers on iRacing, and we have Garrett Lowe, a NASCAR driver on iRacing. So I think that's also a little bit in the back of their heads. I have to ask that if they want to beat the other guy, also because they are rivals on iRacing. I don't think they ever driven against each other. Would be a really nice challenge in the future, by the way, after Dufresne already coached me a little bit in the virtual world. You can watch the video on the Euro NASCAR YouTube channel. But this is also a very interesting constellation with Dufresne and Garrett Lowe, two young guys, also very active in the virtual world here as real-world racers. And I think there's also a little bit of the ego there that they want to beat each other. And Garrett Lowe is really putting a lot of pressure now on the Frenchman.
Yeah, Dufresne, of course, does so much different racing. Yes, he's great on esports. He's also here in Euro NASCAR. He does some endurance racing as well in his native France. A very busy young man these days, and becoming more and more of a, not a specialist, but a multidiscipline all-rounder, which is always, of course, a very great thing to have. Versatility under your cap is a hell of a skill for a young racing driver. Garrett Lowe still looking for all the world like he's going to be making a move sooner rather than later. The gap at the front last time by between Garelli and Ercoli was a mere 0.7 of a second, and it looks like that's about the same. Maybe it's slightly gone out a little further since then. Meanwhile, the 4th and 5th place cars, Dufresne and Lowe, are closing in slightly on Liam Hazemans, and 6th place now is Bruno Mulders. So Mulders is closing in a little bit on this battle by the looks of it. I think he's lapping faster than both. And Jack Davidson has got a problem. He's slow around the circuit. Hopefully he can either park that car somewhere where it's out of the way, or at least get it back to the pit lane. Let's hope that's not going to be the cause of any delays to the racing. But Jack Davidson, unfortunately, with the Lux Motorsport Chevrolet Camaro looking very much off the pace. That is a shame for that team. They worked so hard to make it all happen. 2 sets of 30-second penalties for one car, and that's the number 55 machine of Fabrizio Armetta, currently running 12th. Avoidable contact at the start. I imagine that might be how Thomas Crasonis went airborne in that case then. We're on lap 5 of the race, and the 55 has a minute's worth of penalties to add to the end of their race time. That is a huge slap on the wrist. Meanwhile, Garrett Lowe is once again making Paul Giffreau very aware of the promotion car's presence.
Yeah, and the penalty against the Armetta, that's what the race control said in the driver's briefing. When you do something during the start procedure on the first lap where you risk to wreck a lot of cars, there will be double penalties, and that's exactly what we saw here with Fabrizio Armetta. The incident was a 30-second penalty, but because it was at the start in the first lap with a high risk of a big crash, they doubled the penalty, and that's why he has a 60-second penalty right now after this collision during the starting procedure. And here we have Garrett Lowe. He lost a little bit of ground, and we see Jack Davidson still very slow on track. He tries to get the 21 car back to pit lane. It's not that far away anymore. And it's really interesting that they kept it green there, local yellows only. And Jack Davidson is also doing a really good job keeping his car off the line, off the racing line. And I think he's going to make it back to the pits, Adam. And at the front at the moment, Girelli Acoli, it's really quiet there at the moment, but I don't think it will stay like this.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that battle evolves, of course. There is that question mark as to exactly how much of an advantage Vittorio Girelli has with the limited mileage that his tyres did yesterday here in the Pro Division race in the NASCAR Euro Series. Davidson, I think, has made it back to pit lane now. He had to traverse turn 20, which, of course, to get into the pits, he would have had to be on the apex of that corner, so that can't have been particularly comfortable stuff. Back up into the overall top 10 is Martin Dubeck. He's managed to dispatch Julian Reberg there. You can see Reberg just behind him, and Mikael Makes should be in and around that area too. In fact, I think Makes has fallen behind both of them. Dubeck's up to 9th position now, so making his way through the order. We alluded to Armetta having his penalties and dropping down to 12th position. You can see that his car is pretty well wounded, and early on in the race he was running 6th, appeared to make some sort of error and drop down the timing screens off camera, but still running, albeit with that huge bevy of penalties hanging over his head. Girelli, Ercoli and Hazemans, I would say, are now equidistant, and last time by, Liam Hazemans was 4/10 quicker than either of the two drivers at the front of the field. They're going to come across the line this time by. Let's see what the laps yield on this occasion. It's a 41.3 for Girelli, a 41.7 for Ercoli, and a 41.5 for Hazemans. So Girelli was the fastest man across the line that time at the sharp end of the field, but it feels like after the top two somewhat started to distance themselves from the rest of the top 5, it's feeling to me a little bit like they're amalgamating again.
Yeah, definitely. And Vittorio Girelli, I think he has now the big advantage. You see that the long run is coming in, and Ercoli's tires, they had more kilometers than the tires of Vittorio Girelli, and I think now we see the effect there.
I was going to say, I didn't spot Garrett Lowe in that shot on the drone, and Garrett Lowe's car is slowing coming out of turn 2. That's a huge shame for promotion, for BS Plus competition, and Garrett Lowe, his car coming to a halt after an incredibly strong weekend. And let's see if he can maybe get it fired up, but it didn't look like it was going anywhere quickly. A huge shame, a huge shame for Garrett. Hopefully that car is parked outside of the firing line. It's not a great place for it to be there on the grass, pretty close to the racetrack. We'll have to see what comes next here, but what a blow for Garrett. He's had a great weekend up to this point, and that's never the way you want to leave a circuit with a DNF.
Yeah, but the next race for Promotion is going to be the home race in Oschersleben, and I think they will strike back there. They know the place like the back of their hand. Oschersleben is a really good place also for Garrett Lowe. He tested there during the summer break. Therefore, I bet the American will strike back. I know that it's not his first bad race, let's say bad race, because at Brands Hatch he also had some problems after a contact made with Paul Gifford in qualifying. Then he had to put a old tire on. So yeah, he had his joker already there. This is a bummer for him, but still, there are 4 races left in the 2025 season in the Pro Division, and therefore with double points on the line, Garrett Lowe is poised to strike back, and Oschersleben next is going to be a really good track for him and the team. The German team Promotion, led by Patrick Wendorfer, based in Frankfurt am Main. Now I can use a little bit my German roots and my mother tongue. The Frankfurt am Main, that's exactly the town where Promotion is coming from. They tested in Oschersleben. Dominic Schark works at the track, the teammate of Garrett Lowe, and I'm sure he will be back very strong in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a motorsport hotbed there at Oschersleben. Of course, the wildly successful Motorpark junior single-seater team is based there, among plenty of other motorsport industry as well. Garelli, Erkeli, Hazemans, your top 3, looking fairly evenly spread at the moment. Of course, with the demise of Garrett Lowe, Bruno Mulders is now up to 5th position, and he's lapping every bit as quick as Paul Gifford last time by, but it must be said Gifford being slightly dropped on the previous lap by Garelli, Erkeli and Hazemans. We'll see what their lap times look like this time across the line. It'll be lap 8 of 17 in the books this time by, so we'll be going on to lap number 9. And again, everyone in the top 3 in the 141s. Gifford only on a 42.8 and Mulders on a 42.1. I get the feeling that Paul Gifford might be managing something or struggling with something out there on the circuit, and Bruno Mulders looks to be reeling him in as a result of that. Meanwhile, as you can see, we haven't had a full course yellow or anything like that. I understand that Garrett Lowe has moved himself away from the scene of the 99 car. The number 5 with a puncture by the looks of it, Claudio Remeggio Capelli, has had a rotten weekend, and that car stopping there is very bad news for us, because I think we might end up with a full course yellow, or is he just waiting for the right time to go again? Hopefully it's the latter, because we don't want him stopping in that area of all places, and I just wonder if there was a collision with somebody or whether it happened of its own volition. Martin Dubeck up to 7th place. He was just ahead of Capelli at the line before Claudio had that issue at the chicane.
Yeah, Martin Dubeck and Claudio Capelli were really close together in the midfield there before this puncture happened, and Capelli, he waited there because that's the rule. There's a flagman showing a blue flag. When the blue flag is waving, you're not allowed to rejoin the track. When the flag is not there anymore, you can go. So he was just waiting for the field to pass this section there to be safe on track. But now we have 2 cars stranded there, Capelli and Garrett Lowe. I really was looking at the times because Dubeck and Capelli were really close together. I think that there is a great battle going on. But at the moment we switched to this battle, we saw Capelli with the puncture, really, really bad for him. And the next one in trouble, and this is David Kajaya in the 9 car. What's going on here today? This is a race of survival, I think.
It really does appear to be, doesn't it? We keep having bulletins through saying that certain cars are slow at certain corners, even more than potentially we're seeing on the camera as well. And then you look at guys like Armetta, like Vladimir Osiortsis just behind him. We saw them going through shot in 10th and 11th place, and they've got damage to their cars, some of which we've seen the cause of, some of which we haven't. There's so much going on, and yeah, it does seem like a genuine race of attrition at the moment. I think we've got about 15 cars still properly running around the circuit, one of whom is Thomas Chrysonis in 15th place as we watch Kajaya slowly limp his way around. Chrysonis, I think, has issues because he's lapping in the 45s. I think Chrysonis' car feeling the damage from that airball moment in the very first lap of the race, not what he would have wanted from today's outing. They're about to complete lap 10 of the race. Andre, 7 laps to go. What do you predict from here? Do you think that Girelli's tyre advantage is going to serve him well in these last moments, or does Gianmarco Ercoli have anything left in the pocket?
You know, when I now make a prediction, I'm really cautious there. I don't want to jinx anything, but just on paper, I think Girelli has a big advantage on those fresher tires, but we see that Gianmarco Ercoli is trying to get everything out of the Alumitech Ford Mustang with the number 11. Hazelman's in third also, not that far away, but for me, that Girelli has a big advantage. At the moment, it's quite calm with the battles around. There's no real battle going on right now. That's my opportunity to also talk about Max Lanza in the 89 car. There's a nice information. He's a non-championship driver this weekend, and I talked to him before the race because he's testing some prototype tires, new Lugia tires. They are developing a new tire for the NASCAR Euro Series, and he's really happy. He said they produce a lot of grip, and they are also really reliable, and therefore he's really positive about the development there. This is the first thing we've heard from Max Lanza, just as an information, prototype tires on the 89 car.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And of course, Hugia Tyres claiming more and more of a market share here in Europe. And in fact, I think they're at the moment it's about the only place where you can buy tyres for a racing sidecar of all things. Seeing more and more Hugia rubber on various different things, single-seaters, motorcycles, and of course here in the NASCAR Euro Series, where they've been partnering with us now for seasons. Martin Dubek following there in the footsteps and indeed the wheel tracks of that number 69 of Sebastian Bleekemolen. Dubek looking to try and salvage a top 6 finish out of this race. Again, not the race he would have been hoping for. He's got himself back up to where he started in P7, but I think in general going winless here, especially in the open division, certainly not what Dubek would have wanted, but he's still been getting great support and reaching out so many fans here this weekend, many of whom are at the first corner. They watch him try and go around the outside at turn 1. He's not quite close enough, not quite far enough alongside Sebastian Bleekemolen to make it work, but it's fair to say that the experienced Dutchman is under pressure.
Yeah, that's a great battle for 6th position here right now. Sebastian Bleekemolen holding on to the lead of Martin Dubek in this battle, but Martin Dubek, he's really putting a lot of pressure on the 69 car. Sebastian Bleekemolen really uses the width of his car to keep him behind the Czech warrior that wanted a home race win so bad. But it didn't work out, and I think now he's just taking a look at the bigger picture, maximize the points, get a good position heading into the playoffs. But this battle is not over, as well as Thomas Toffel, who's right behind Vladimir Tsotis. We had a short sequence of the 64 and 34 car as well. These are the 2 battles we see right now. Bleekemolen, Dubek, and Tsotis, Toffel. And Tsotis and Toffel, they battle for 11th place.
Yeah, so battles further down outside the top 5, and for Sebastian Bleekemolen, this has been a year of driving carefully, getting points on the board and yielding results from that. He's 5th in the standings right now. He's 6th in this race, but Martin Dubek all over the back of the number 69 car. Hendricks Motorsport against Team Bleekemolen then in this battle. Dubek with a nice tidy run there out of the final corner down the long main straight. I'm sure he's going to be off at the outside line only for turn 1. He's closer. Can he draw himself alongside under braking into turn 1? He can, but he gets muscled out there by Sebastian Bleekemolen. Bleekemolen has seen that move happen on a few occasions now, and he's not going to fall for that one. Martin Dubek and Sebastian Bleekemolen with a great dice here for that 6th position in this race. We've got 5 more laps for them to contest this battle, and Dubek is going to be extra keen to get that extra point in the championship, yes, but also to show his home fans exactly what he can do.
Meanwhile, at the front, Girelli and Ercole split by 1.269 seconds. Haseman in third. He got a little bit closer to Gianmarco Ercole. So in the last lap, there may be a battle between Ercole and Haseman for second position, while we still see Sebastian Blekemolen defending with all he has in the 69 car. Martin Dubek doesn't find a way past this machine, and Sebastian Blekemolen also really calm, making no mistakes, never kept the door open, so Martin can slip through. Therefore, it's an amazing battle right now, 5 laps to go.
Julian Reberg, who was running behind this battle in 8th place, he's pulled up at turn 2. Another driver seemingly has stopped at that car graveyard. We're trying to give Dale Earnhardt Jr. a run for his money at the moment, seemingly. I think we've got 3 cars on the same bit of grass at the moment. Unfortunately, the team promotion number 77 car joins its teammate, the number 99. Not the circumstance we'd have wanted, but I understand the 77 driver is out of the car. Here comes Dubek looking to the inside line. No, can't get it done again. Blekemolen under huge pressure from the number 7. Dubek wants to do it there at turn 1 specifically, not just because it's the best overtaking opportunity, but because that's where all of his fans are situated watching the action. Now, Liam Hasemans' pace is interesting to me. He's been the quickest driver on several laps in a row here, and he is closing in on that top 2. Both Girelli and Ercole have responded and dipped back into the 1 minute 41s over the last couple of laps. I feel like Hasemans is running out of time here, and of course, even if he does get to the back of Gianmarco Ercole, he'll need to find a way around the 11 Illumatech racing car, which is an entirely different proposition. But all the same, Hasemans had great race pace. This is really positive stuff from the Retty Jones Racing number 30.
Yeah, definitely. Haseman with a really, really good long run car there, and Ercole struggling a little bit. The last lap, they will show if Haseman has what it takes to even overtake Ercole, who won the race yesterday. Girelli will strike back when he makes no mistakes, and the car is reliable enough for the last 3 laps. Martin Dubek, yeah, he doesn't find a way past Sebastian Blekemolen, but he's really cautious. He's also really calm. Martin Dubek doesn't want to force overtaking maneuver there, and we see Ercole at the limit. He was locking his tires a little bit. 3 laps to go. Adam, you know what time it is for me. I'm heading down to victory lane. See you later.
Okay, well, as you head to victory lane, Martin Dubek is making a bid for 6th position. He's got the inside line. He got the best run out of the final corner that he possibly could, and he's converted it into 6th position. Now, we saw Ercole locking up. Andre commented on that. I also saw some puffs of smoke out of Vittorio Girelli, and I hate to do my home diagnostics, but it felt like it was at the point where he'd have been doing some downshift. So hopefully there's not an issue in that Girelli car, but there was some interesting puffs of smoke there as he decelerated for the first corner. Looks like we might have a car stopped as well at the pit exit. We did see a car stop there. I wasn't sure if the safety car was just in a very strange position, but it actually appears to be Thomas Toffel who is falling through the order, which is unfortunate because, of course, he was on the fringes of the top 10. This race of attrition continues. We've got 14 cars left running at this stage. Not the day that anyone would have forecast down at promotion. Certainly they've lost 2 cars and a few other teams worse for wear out there also, but all stations, all situations normal here with Girelli, Ercole and Hasemans. They've all got great pace. They all come across the line, well, I was going to say at about the same speed. Both Girelli and Ercole doing 41.7s last time by, but actually Hasemans losing time, a 42.09 on the previous lap for Hasemans. I wonder if maybe he's just taken the best out of the tyres, and that could be the case at this stage. Now that Martin Dubek has gotten past Sebastian Blekemolen, he's opened up a gap of 1.4 seconds across 1 lap. I get the feeling that Dubek's pace was pretty strong. Unfortunately, he didn't get the opportunity to showcase that earlier. He could have been fighting for the top 5, the podium here today, if he hadn't got such a bad start, getting pushed off, ending up in the gravel out of that turn 2, and it's continued to get worse from there, unfortunately. It's the penultimate lap of the race then, lap 16 of 17 here in the final race of regular season in the Euro NASCAR Pro Division, and it looks to me like Gianmarco Ercoli, with this second place finish, will leave regular season as the regular season champion, if you will. We'll see who's where on the drop scores in the moments following the race. I know that our dedicated media team member Reza is ready to go with his spreadsheet to let us know where we are with the drop scores taken into account while we're in victory lane a little bit later on. It looks like right now it's going to be that number 24 car that joins us in victory lane, but he's got to make one more lap of Autodrom Most before we get there. Vittorio Girelli begins the final lap of the race. Turn 1 and turn 2, well executed. Girelli already the driver with the most victories in the Pro Division here at Most. He's going to add a fourth victory to his tally. No one else has more than 2 wins at this venue in Czechia as of this moment. He has certainly made this place his own over the years. And while he won't be leading the championship, even with the countbacks, I don't think he will be right up there and in contention. Of course he wants to be, because he wants to defend that title. He wants to get a second championship in 2023. Remember, he will feel that the championship fell through his hands in a big way. In 2024 he paired up with PK Carsport and avenged that moment, and in 2025 the combination of the Belgian team and the Italian star have continued to showcase just what they're capable of. He went to Trois-Rivières, of course, in the summer break as well, and flew that NASCAR Euro Series flag high, which was fabulous to see on the streets of Trois-Rivières, Canada. And we are now seeing him back in Europe, back at Most, and for the 4th time, our reigning champion will see the checkered flag first here in the Czech Republic. Vittorio Girelli and PK Carsport win the race here. Round 8 of the season goes to Vittorio Girelli. You see Vladimir Osiortsis also pulled up there at pit exit, so another car has fallen by the wayside in this race of attrition. Girelli, Ercoli, Hazemans, your top 3. Paul Giffreau will be 4th position. Mulders and Dubek rounding out the top half dozen. Martin Dubek wrapping up here a strong weekend in front of his home crowd, albeit a strong weekend with some misfortunes and some difficult times around some of these races. You'll be happy though to have put on a show here in Czechia once again. Blake Amolan 7th, Mikael Marquez in 8th place. Fabrizio Armetta is 9th for the time being, but remember he has a cumulative 60 seconds of penalties, so he's going to be dropped down outside of the top 10 behind Ulysse Delso and Massimilio Lanza. So that will be our top 10. And Chrysonis will be classified as well. He's still running around the circuit at the moment, having gone past, I believe, Federico Monti, but Thomas Chrysonis eventually across the line in 12th position. However, Lanza's not scoring points and Armetta has his minute of penalties, so I think Chrysonis will actually be classified or get the points for 10th position, all things considered. And honestly, that's not as bad as it could be, given the weekend he's had, or the race he's had here on Sunday afternoon. Girelli, our race winner, brings himself back closer to Gianmarco Ercoli in the championship considerations with this win. Liam Hazemans in 3rd position, his first podium of the weekend. Good job from Liam. Paul Giffreau 4th. Bruno Mulders rounds out the top 5 after a difficult race earlier on in the open division. That will be a nice measure, I suppose you could say, of revenge. Martin Dubek in 6th. Sebastian Blekemolen 7th. The other Czech racer, Michael Makes, in 8th position. Armetta and Yildiz Del So rounding out the overall top 10. Once, Armetta, of course, will be outside the top 10, as we've alluded to. But for now, Armetta classified 9th. He will be dropped, though, to the rear of the lead lap drivers, which I think will only drop him down as far as 12th place. Such was the drama on this day here at Most. So then, Vittorio Garelli will head to victory lane here at the Autodrom Most. You see there the car graveyard that has formed at turn 3 there on the inside line. 2 of which unfortunately belong to the German promotion team. They'll of course be looking for better fortunes when we head to the homeland of that team and our own Andre Wiegold, that being Oschersleben, Germany, for the first round of the playoffs. Double points in the playoffs, of course. It's not an elimination style format like the US NASCAR divisions, but it is all the same a critical time and a highly unpredictable time in every NASCAR Euro Series season, with double points on the line. We'll give you some updates in regard to where they stand in points in the next few moments, but for now, Vittorio Garelli, the defending champ, is going to be climbing out of his car in just a moment. It's win number 2 only of the season for Garelli, which almost feels inaccurate given the year that he's had so far. But it is win number 2 of the season. And critically, he will head into the playoffs in a good position with good momentum behind him. It's only a 3-week break until we get to Oschersleben, so ending on a high with a car that's in good condition, etc., etc., is hugely important. Apologies there, I got so excited that I gesticulated my own microphone off. Hopefully you've got me again now.
All right, let's go.
PK Car Sport should be very happy with their performance. Hopefully we'll hear from Andre here in the next moment or two as well. Vittorio Garelli is there, and I can see Andre down there too. He'll get involved, and we will hear from our race-winning driver. Andre waves at us. Hello, Andre. I think we're going to switch in the next few moments down to your camera, and we'll go to victory lane and hear from Vittorio Garelli. Indeed, let's go there now.
Perfect race. You took a lot of advantage of the tires. Ercoli couldn't really attack, and you have a really good position for the playoffs right now, right?
Yeah, it was a very good race. Yeah, we did a strategy yesterday with PK Car Sport, best team in the paddock for sure, and we saved the tires. We had all issues in qualifying. We didn't have any lap in practice, so this is a really good comeback, and we go in the playoffs. I think we're even points or something, but anyway, double points, everything can happen. But it was important to get this win for the sponsors, for the family, for the team, and yeah, let's go in the playoffs. I'm hyped, looking forward.
Oschersleben and Zolder, tracks you like, or are they tricky for you?
Yeah, I love Oschersleben, also Zolder. I swept all 7 pole positions last year, and I'm very confident, especially in those tracks. So I'm very technical. I like them a lot, and we will go practicing a bit on Wednesday. So we will have also a bit of testing, which is always good. Some training, you know. So looking forward to it. It's a long journey, a long battle, but we're in the play.
All right, congratulations. Thank you so much. Vittorio Garelli, your winner in Euro NASCAR Pro.
Yeah, Vittorio Garelli back in victory lane again. Now, the championship situation, Vittorio Garelli was exactly right. As of now, they're tied, Garelli and Ercoli, on 252 points apiece. Ercoli has 3 victories. and Girelli has 2. Therefore, on countback, Gianmarco Ercoli will be our quote-unquote regular season champion, and he will also, of course, by 0 points, but a win advantage, lead the championship going into the double points playoffs, which is a huge boon for him and the new for 2025 Illumatech Racing team here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Girelli puts the sticker on the car, and he will be at the moment second, but tied on points with Gianmarco Ercoli in the championship battle. If there's ever a Titanic feel, I can't imagine a better scenario than Ercoli versus Girelli and them being tied on points going into the last 2 rounds. That is incredible stuff. And of course, it's not just them in the battle as well. Paul Giffreau is only 12 points back too, and Thomas Cressone is 4th in the points, 19 back. He's with Andre.
We have to check, but keep it now. Thomas, you had a really tough start. We saw your car flying a bit through the air, and then you just tried to limit the damage, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just had to finish the race, try to get as much points as possible. Yeah, but I couldn't do anything, it's clear on the video. I got sandwiched. I had to move to the left in the start, not to hit the guys in front because they were scared they brake early. Then on the right one, somebody, I don't know who it is. Also, it doesn't matter, But anyway, somebody, hit me. I went flying, so it is what it is. But yeah, still good recovery with the car being half destroyed. P11, it's okay. So yeah, I don't know where we are in the points. Should be P3 or P4 overall.
We're going to put the points on the Euro NASCAR social media account very quickly. So you can look it up. YouTube, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks to my sponsors, Costa Mara Dodoni, my coach Paul Tibas, Alon Day, and my team PK Carsport. I think we had a very good car. We could have been top 5, but still, sometimes the race doesn't go as it should. But we cannot complain this weekend. 2 wins, 1 P4, and almost top 10 with half a car. So. More than okay. So now playoffs.
All right, thank you so much, Thomas Crasones. Hopefully the camera is going to follow me now because I see Liam Hazeman's there. Oh, I wanted to come down to you, but no. Liam, you did. Liam, are you with me?
Yeah.
Good. It was a good battle there up front. In the end, you got a better and better pace, and therefore you were in the mix. How happy are you with the performance?
No, very happy. I mean, we tried something with the tire pressure because we saw in the warm-up that the car was very, very good. We tried, to go very, very low on tire pressure. But that's why, in the beginning, I couldn't keep up with them, impossible. And at the end, actually, it really started coming. But no, this time, honestly, the team, nothing to say about it because, well, as usual, because the car was just mega. But yeah, just myself a bit also, I came back from a few health issues, etc. So yeah, physically it was really tough at the end. But no, very happy for Jimmy for second, and Vittorio, well deserved after their shitty weekend with the brakes. So yeah, very happy for everybody and for us too.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to the next driver, okay? Yes. Gianmarco.
Amen.
When I'm right, it's a really, really, really close battle between you and Vittorio Girelli now in the championship, in the playoffs. You're tied on points, and therefore, everything will count. How was your race?
No, it's a really good race. I'm happy for the start because I stay second, and it's not easy here. So for the race, my car was really good. I tried to force for close the gap between me and Vittorio, but the tires of his car were better than mine, and at the middle of the race the difference was too much. I'm happy because take all these points here for me is an incredible result, and now start the playoff into incredible circuit for me because Schesleben and Zolder I like too much, and come on, the way is correct, and I'm happy for the team, for my main sponsor, and go on.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations, Gianmarco. Max, how was your race?
Very, very good. Very good. I wait for too much traffic, and I tested the new tires, so I was looking for the good pace, and Very good, very good.
It seems like you're happy. Thank you so much. Congratulations. I'm looking for more drivers. Can we turn around here, please? Bruno, very, very quickly, how was your race?
Yeah, really good. From starting P14, I mean, knowing I had quite a job to do, and yeah, through all the chaos, everything that happened in the race made it to P5. So after the weekend we had, really happy with this result.
Yeah, you showed some comeback skills there in almost every race this race weekend. What are your goals for the playoffs?
Well, obviously, you always want to win.
Easy. All right. Thank you so much, Paul. You're next. It's playoffs times. Yes. How does the approach change right now? I mean, in the moment you always looked at the big picture, but with double points on the line, no mistakes allowed, and you have to go a little bit more, take more risks.
Yeah, it's now or never. So this will be all in every race, and little of managing of course, but yeah, now we will fight for the win more than now. And yeah, so yeah, we will put more on the table.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. Let me take a look, Adam. No, there's nobody else around, so back to you.
Good job, Andre, getting the interviews in there with our drivers as they flock down to the podium. Of course, we'll be doing the presentation for the overall top three, but also, of course, the others in the standings as well. And that graphic not quite correct, because it'll be 3 weeks from now, not today, that we go to Germany for the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben event. Of course, that will be September 20th and 21st, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I've got in my calendar, in my diary, so I think that is potentially correct. The 20th and 21st of September, we'll be at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben for what is an important weekend in the championship. Double points playoffs time, the semi-finals of the 2025 NASCAR Euro Series, and that's going to be, I think, something of a thriller. And we see there the PK Car Sport crew down there, of course, with the number 24. And some conversations going on there between Ercole Garelli and their countryman Federico Monti as they analyse the weekend that was. 3 drivers, of course, from 3 teams. And in the case of Alex Cathy Academy Motorsport, of course, that Federico Monti is the team boss as well. Monti will be on the Challenger Trophy podium, where he managed to finish second, frankly, by dint of surviving the race, behind Massimilio Lanza. Lanza, I think, will be on the podium, but as we've alluded to, he's a non-points driver. Thomas Toffel, despite pulling over, will be third on that podium. And that is, it's been a difficult race in terms of getting everyone to the checkered flag. I think after a long, hard weekend at a circuit like this place, Most, you have such abrasive curbs. You've got so many of them, being 21 corners spread across around 2.6 miles, 4.2 kilometres. There you see the TJ titanium ring, which goes to our fastest driver of the event. And on this occasion, I should say, it will be Gianmarco Ercole that wins that prize. Of course, not a surprise, given he won yesterday and was second place today. And Gianmarco has a few of them in his collection. Thomas Chrysonis and co continue to debrief the race that was, and good to see that friendly vibe in the paddock, in the victory lane, even after this weekend, even when we're at this point in the season where, of course, it does start to get very serious with championship implications at play. I think Liam Hazemans has just been shouted at to come to the podium because we're about to start our first presentation. Indeed, I think you might have heard his name and then made a run for it. Liam Hazemans up onto the third step of the podium, joined by Jimmy Ercole. And our winner, that number 24 car in victory lane, the driver Vittorio Garelli, our defending champion, tied on points with Gianmarco going into the playoffs. I've been rubbing my hands together so much I have friction burn just thinking about these next 2 events. There we go. The national anthem there for Vittorio Garelli. Great weekend for him, a great Sunday for him. Saturday, arguably, a little bit more low-key than he would have liked, of course, with his early retirement from the race. But certainly Sunday has been a great bounce back. You see there our Grand Marshal delivering the trophies to our top three. And Vittorio Garelli will receive, of course, the biggest trophy of all from Richard Cervenka, who's the National Sports Agency representative here this weekend, taking the Grand Marshal responsibilities because the president of this country, of Czechia, was out with his camera getting some great photos of the Euro NASCAR machines. Can we get a presidential perspective post on Instagram, I wonder, from President Pavel? The champagne sprays on everyone. Vittorio Garelli not going to waste time. He's going to get everyone involved in the celebrations, and he wants to give a sip and a shower to his colleagues here at PK Car Sport. Anthony Kumpen, of course, certainly familiar with the taste of champagne on a Euro NASCAR podium. Wonder if we'll ever see him at the wheel again. It's been a little bit of time now. But something tells me that one day the Belgian racer might give it another crack or two. Of course, we do conclude the season in Belgium, in the homeland of PK Car Sport, when we head to Zolder on the 11th and 12th of October. That will be the end of our season. And it's anyone's guess which way that championship is going to go. Meanwhile, Gianmarco Ercoli receiving his driver of the event accolade from TJ Titanium Rings. And he will be wearing that with pride, I am quite sure, thanks to Marco Raggi from TJ Titanium Rings, as always, there to do the presentation. Next up, it will be the endurance team's presentation. Now, sometimes we get all three teams up there and it gets a little bit claustrophobic. Other times we have the team that wins only. But the winning team this time around in the endurance teams, which, if you're unfamiliar, instead of having a teams championship in a traditional sense, what we do is combine the race results of all four races into one 250-kilometer de facto endurance race. And so we're seeing the top three teams across both races here, the top three cars across both races here. You saw there Thomas Chrysonis for PK Car Sport making the third place trophy his own, or the third place podium spot his own. The 69 team Bleekemolen car, courtesy of the efforts of Melvin de Groot and Sebastian Bleekemolen on the second step. But owing to their performances across the weekend, Martin Dubek has been pretty resilient this weekend. He's not had it all go his own way, but he's, I think, finished top 10 in all of the races, and in such an up and down weekend for so many teams, it is enough for the home team, the number 7 Orion back Ford Mustang. It's enough for them to make it the top step for themselves and for Martin Dubek in the NASCAR GP of Czechia. You see there the second place trophy has now gone to the 69 team Bleekemolen squad. And the P1 trophy to Martin Dubek's team. The Dutch team with the Czech driver. And it's been a good shift from Martin Dubek across all four races. I don't think Martin's there for that presentation, but I imagine he's probably gone and found himself the nearest ice bath after 4 races in the space of 24 hours. Next up, it will be the Junior Trophy presentation. And overall podium finisher Liam Hasemans will be on top of the tree there in Junior Trophy. An interesting little battle, I think, emerging in the juniors this year. And again, it's between Paul Giuffreau and Thomas Chrysonis. Well, last year it was Giuffreau and Hasemans, but Giuffreau and Chrysonis having such a great scrap this time around. Just 7 points behind between Giuffreau and Chrysonis, but the likes of Hasemans and Garrett Lowe could also be a factor in that Junior Trophy consideration going into the playoffs. Bruno Mulder's there on the third step of the podium. Of course, he's making a real surge forward, but he didn't start the season in the Pro Division, so I don't think it's realistic for him to be a factor this year. But what a young talent he is. Two great young Dutch talents on this podium. Bruno Mulder's receiving his third place trophy. The current Junior Trophy points leader, Paul Giuffreau, taking the second step of the podium and the second place trophy. And it will be Liam Hasemans who receives the P1 accolade in Junior Trophy. Congratulations to Liam on a good Sunday here. Unfortunately, Jill Linster had some issues in the Open Division race earlier on, got himself into a couple of different tangles, but the weekend ending on a high for Retty Jones Racing, courtesy of Liam Hasemans. He had good pace there. Hasemans is yet to win a race this season. He's had just the 2 podiums, actually, this season in the overall consideration, which is quite unlike Liam. And I imagine he'll be working hard to try and get a win or two better, or get a win or two behind him when we get back to Oschersleben and indeed, of course, Zolder, which is his closest thing to a home round. Challenger Trophy podium up next, and Thomas Toffel taking the third step of that podium. Federico Monti arriving for that P2, and as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, it will be Massimilio Lanza on the top step, albeit he won't be scoring points. So Federico Monti with the most points scored of anyone in Challenger Trophy in today's race. Challenger Trophy points leader, I believe, will still be Claudio Remigio Capelli. Thomas Toffel, the ex-mini bike racer, has had a rough season this year, it's fair to say. He's been in a few different tangles, he's bounced around teams, but hopefully that TFT car comes back strong at Oschersleben, a circuit where he's had some of his best successes to date in Euro NASCAR. So, as the Challenger Trophy drivers celebrate, we can now take a look back at what happened there in the Pro Division, round number 8 of the season. Regular season's concluded here at Most, and now let's take a look back at this race. So some wins having an effect. I don't remember seeing this live. Great stuff there. A little bit of a windy day, a slightly windier day than we had yesterday here at the Autodrom Most. Of course, the national anthems of the US and the Czech Republic observed before we went racing. And when we did go racing, it was a good start from Vittorio Garelli, seemingly aided a little bit by a slight bump from Liam Hasemans, who of course was trying to follow him through on the inside line into second place. It would be Garelli in the lead, Erkley and Hasemans side by side through turns 1 and 2, and then further back in the field, Thomas Chrysonis got launched up into the air there in multi-car contact. Martin Dubeck got pushed out wide as well. Another dramatic moment at the pinch point that is known as turns 1 and 2 here at Most. Garrett Lowe was in the top 5 and fighting with Giuffreau and Hasemans in the early stages of the race. Went around the outside of Giuffreau at turn 1 and briefly got up to 4th position, but Giuffreau would get a good run out of the corner and draw back alongside and back past the number 99 before too long. Claudio Remigio Capelli had a tyre go down, and by this point in the race, unfortunately, we'd already lost Garrett Lowe as well. He had an issue and pulled over on the exit of turn 2, and on the inside of turn 3, and Claudio Remeggio Capelli would soon join him there as well. So a few different drivers in the wars. David Kajaya as well in the Team George Bayard EV machine was having issues. Meanwhile, Sebastian Blekemolen had a different kind of issue. He had Martin Dubek on his boot lid for much of the middle portion of this race. Dubek getting a good run here out of the final turn, drawing alongside the Dutchman, and had the inside line into the first corner and made it look fairly academic under braking. And once he did get through into 6th position, he drove away from the 69 car. Meanwhile, controlling things from pole, a lights to flag win for Vittorio Girelli. His second victory of the season puts him on a tie score with Gianmarco Ercoli going into the double points playoffs. Maximum intrigue going into the double points playoffs here in the NASCAR Euro Series. You're not going to want to miss what comes next here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Double points on the line at both Oschersleben and Zolder. No one is eliminated from contention. As long as the maths say you could win the title, then win the title you might just. Open doors and thrills aplenty set to come. Make sure you join us on the 20th and the 21st of September as we head into the playoffs in the 2025 NASCAR Euro Series.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Have a good evening.